I want to talk about what they don't tell you when starting a business. What don't they tell you when starting a business? You see, there's a lot of noise on social media. Founders are seen as cool. You know, 15, 20 years ago, it was very much, the founders of companies were seen as, stuffy old men. It was a bit, it wasn't cool. It wasn't the sort of stuff you wanted to get into. Now, like, there's an explosion over the last sort of 10 years of people starting their own business, all with technology and social media and Instagram and stuff like that. Who doesn't want to start a business? Think of how cool it sounds to call yourself a CEO and a founder. If you look on LinkedIn, there are loads of people that do this. But the reality is that most of the information you actually get online and most of the the promotion of people doing this stuff doesn't really give it a whole story. It's almost too optimistic and unbalanced, in my opinion. It makes it look like anyone can do it, and it looks like it's a quick route to wealth. The reality is very, very different, right? And there's a big difference between starting a business and building a business. So what don't they tell you when starting a business? Well, I've written down 5 things. Firstly, is lonely. When people talk about calling themselves a CEO and founder, most people start a business up from a bedroom. Our business was started from a bedroom, now in offices, and when we started, it was me on my own. I'm sat there, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, making calls, doing all this kind of stuff, and nobody knows what you're doing. No one can see you or anything. Your mates are sat there going, I want to go on holiday, or do something. If I go and take a week out of my business, I've got a fledgling business. I can't sit there and go, let's look after the customers, let's think, what I'll do is I'll sit there and I'll do it from a beach in abroad. 2 reasons you can't do that. One, when you're out there, the reality of all these photos, I'm working on a beach abroad, you're not enjoying your holiday if you was doing that. And plus, you can't really concentrate on sitting there and interviewing, and what we do is recruitment, and you can't really talk to customers or deal with people and things like that when you're on a beach abroad. Because the thing is, when you're a small business, you need your customers more than they need you. They don't tell you that. When you're a big business and customers are then reliant on you for their own business, it's a bit different. We've got a lot of competition. When you're a small business, you'll have tons of competition. They'll all be bigger, they'll all be better. The thing that sets you apart is your ability to be agile. If you can be the quickest, the most urgent, you can give them that small business dedication, happy days. You can't do that from a beach in Spain or something. And the second reason is money-wise. This idea that when you start a business, you're going to have loads of money sat there to go, right, do you know what, we'll make a lot of money, we'll go and spend it, I'll go and buy some designer clothing. If you don't do that, your business will go out overnight. If you want to get anywhere in a business, in that lonely stage of it, you can't go out and do that kind of stuff. You can't live a great lifestyle. So you're incredibly isolated and lonely. It really is like that. Second thing, leading on from that, I wrote, the honeymoon high doesn't last very long, and I'm talking about motivation with that. When you start a business, you're really motivated. It's not hard to start a business. It really isn't. People talk about starting a business. Remember me saying there's a big difference between starting a business, building a business. Starting a business where you sit there, you go, right, I can make money for myself, I can do this now, I can go out and do some great cool things. That's wonderful, but the reality is, after a couple of months, when you're sat in your bedroom doing 10, 12 hours a day, you don't see anyone, you can't, that idea of, oh, just nip downstairs, put Sky Sports News on, you can't do that. If you want your business to get anywhere, you have to really go for it. And initially, you're really motivated, but after a while, it's kind of, when you're not getting anywhere, when you're getting a bunch of knockbacks and rejection day after day after day, it's not as if you turn to the person on your right or left and go, oh, what do I do here? You've got no one to perk you up because you're lonely. So that honeymoon high bit, it starts dropping off, and your motivation drops off with it. This is the key bit. Starting a business, you really, really got to want to do it. Most businesses fail. 90% of businesses, the statistics roughly, and it hasn't changed in decades. So nothing to do with the modern era of business. This is a general kind of business statistic. 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. 40% fail within the first 12 months. That's generally across businesses. Some industries might be slightly different, but if you take it as a general rule, that's pretty accurate, okay? 40% of those businesses fail in the first year, or after the first 5 years. Most of them, really enough, if you actually look at it, it's not a root cause or their market dropped off, or there's no demand for their product, that kind of stuff. There's all working hard. Some companies that is true of, but most of them, realistically, it comes down to the motivation of the owner. of the people that are running the company. When you're in a small business, you have to be motivated. If you as a business owner aren't motivated to do it, your business is going to go down quickly, really fast. So you've got to be worried about that. And if your motivation ever drops off because it's relying on you, your business is kind of sliding. Next thing you know, you start putting this off, putting that off. Right, I've lost my organisation. God, it's all getting on top of me now. I can't be bothered with this. Sod it, I'll go and work for someone else. I'll wrap this up. This just isn't for me. And you'll do that. You've got to decide before starting a business whether you really want to do it, because it's hard. That motivation side is tough, really tough. The third thing I wrote is you're exposed on a skill set. A lot of people, when they go into a business, and there's a good book on this called The E-Myth Revisited, and they basically go through wearing 3 different hats. Okay, when you start a business, most people start a business, they're basically, it's your trade, So let's say you're a plumber or something like that, a classic trade. Don't have to, it could be any business, but you'll have a particular skill set where doing that, you're good at your trade. You're good at whatever it is, whether it be a plumber, be an accountant, whatever it is. When you start that, you know about what your business is itself. But the thing is, when you run a business, there's 3 different areas. There's past, there's present, and there's future. Your past is your skill set, your trade, essentially, what you're doing. Well, if you can already do that, happy days. But then you've got to worry about the present, which is the day-to-day management of your business, the operational side of it. If you don't know how to operate your business on a day-to-day basis, you're exposed on a skill set from sales, marketing, technologies you need to be able to use, things like this, and you can't do it on a day-to-day basis, and the admin side or whatever, and you're on your own in a business and you haven't got anyone else you can rely upon, and you don't know those skills, or you can't learn them to at least a decent enough passable level, straight away your business is going to have a massive hole in it. You're going to have endless problems on that side of it. When you start a business, you are exposed to those things. You need to get yourself realistically to in my opinion, a level of a reasonable prowess at all of those areas that's going to be relevant to your business and most businesses, or be able to outsource them for a cost-effective amount of money before starting a business. Otherwise, you're going to have massive issues, and if you don't know how to fix those or what they are, if you don't know how to do sales, you're not going to attract any customers. If you don't market your business, you're not going to get awareness for your business and inadvertently attract customers and brand. If you don't know how to do the financial side of it, and you can't organise anything for the money side, how do you know what money you're going to get? If you don't know anything about the IT systems, most technology and equipment you're going to need these days, it will save you time, increase productivity, allow you to do your job properly. If you're not good with that kind of stuff and you can't learn it, you're going to be doing it the hard way. And again, you'll be exposed on that. So you need to learn them pretty quickly. If you don't, you can really have some issues. The next thing I put was, it's high risk and you're going to have a lot of worries. When you start out, you don't think there's going to be a lot of risk. But most businesses initially will lose money. So whatever money you've put into them, you tend to have a few issues. You do hear about business people going, I built my business into a multi-million pound empire on 500 quid. Well, that's great, but £500, in most businesses, you're going to need a lot of luck. If you put £500 into most businesses, you're probably going to lose it pretty quickly. You probably won't get anywhere for the first 3 months. Most businesses with customers, you're going to have people, maybe not trying to pay you or paying late, or, even if you do get business off of it, you're then going to have that delay. You've got to account that you're going to lose money. And even then, when you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to expand it or whatever, you've got to be spending what profit you make back on that. You've got to balance up, well, how much do I need to spend? What if I take this person on and they're not right for my business, I'm losing money on them? Or you're thinking, right, this technology looks like it could help my business, it's going to cost me some money, I won't know it, I've looked at it all, we probably need to sit there and go and try this technology, but I need to put enough money into it to test whether it's a minimum viable product or for our business. If it works, great, we can then put money into it. If it doesn't work, how much can I afford to lose? And you're going to constantly have worries like this, sleepless nights, stuff like that. Do you want to live with that? Some people come to a territory, okay, fine, I can handle it. But it is something that's very prevalent when you start your business. And the final 5th thing I wrote was, there's no quick wins. All of these entrepreneurs you see, and I dislike it on Instagram and things like that, they put out founder and CEO, you see them driving around in great cars. Most of those cars are on credit. They go and sit there and buy designer clothing. That money and all that stuff, and you can make money, don't get me wrong, as a small business, you can make money sat there going out, putting on this, that and the other. But I've heard of horror stories where people are putting their corporation tax and their quarterly VAT, using it to go out and have a holiday, or go and buy some designer clothes, or go and put down a deposit on a nice Merc or something. That's great. Realistically, if you want your business to get anywhere and build a business, all the profit you make needs to be ploughed back into it. Realistically, it probably take 4, 5, maybe 6 years until you make any good money. The difference is, if you want to have a decent lifestyle fairly quickly, you can do it when starting a business, but your business might not last very long. Before you know it, you can have a pretty disastrous lifestyle when you declare bankrupt and not got a penny to your name, and then you're back to square one. Or you can be sensible with your money, invest it wisely, be really cost conscious, take your time, play the long run, and then you actually then got a business that can solidly make you a lot of money for a long time. That is building a business. Starting a business is very different. Building a business is what you should be aiming for. Starting a business doesn't mean anything. And they're the things that don't tell you when starting a company. Any questions, any comments, feel free to drop me a message or anything like that on here. And hopefully more videos to come if this one's successful. Thank you.